What's your name and what subject do you teach?
My name is Valles and I teach 9th and 10th grade ELA.
Is it your first year teaching high school?
Yes, this is my first year as a full-time teacher. I was a sub for a couple years before, but this is my first having a permanent home.
Why do you want to be a teacher?
So I want to be a teacher because I feel like high schoolers are in a really vulnerable spot in their life, and I remember when I was in high school I really valued the relationships that I had with other adults that cared about me and were there for me and were always willing to give me advice and listen to me. And so I kind of want to do that for high schoolers now, is be that adult that cares for them, that's always there for them and is willing to listen and to give advice and just kind of return that favor that was given to me when I was a kid.
What's your favorite music genre?
Don't know if I have a favorite, but I pretty much like all music except for country. I don't know, it hits my ear the wrong way or something, but I like pretty much everything else, yeah.
What are your strengths as a teacher?
My strengths as a teacher are probably my ability to build relationships with students, and I'm also very willing to help students with anything that they need. And I think students would be really surprised to know how willing I am to help them and be available for them and kind of go the extra mile for them.
And what do you have to say about your weaknesses?
My weaknesses are I probably put too much pressure on myself, and I probably expect too much out of myself for being my first year as a teacher. I think that I might put just unnecessary pressure in that I have to do everything perfect and I don't want to lose my job and that type of thing, so I think that gets into my head and gets in my way as a teacher, and I need to kind of relax and just realize that this is my first year and I'm going to be learning a lot and making a lot of mistakes.
What's an interesting fact about you?
An interesting fact about me is that I didn't always want to be a teacher. So I spent the first couple years out of college trying to avoid teaching at all costs. All of my friends were teaching and I didn't want to fall into that. So I tried different things. I did freelance writing, I did some freelance photography, and I worked with a coffee roaster, and all those things I really enjoyed. But none of the positions were really giving me the fulfillment that I was looking for. I was also substitute teaching at that time, and I really remember enjoying that and being in the classroom and spending time with students. So I realized that it probably is the place that I belonged after all, and so I'm really glad I made that decision.
Is there anything you'd want your students to know?
Yes, I would love for them to know that I really want to help them. I really want them to succeed, and I really want them to believe in themselves. And I think, again, like I was saying, they'd be surprised what I'm willing to do to help them and make sure that they succeed. And the way that my philosophy in teaching is that it's not so much about their grades, it's not so much about how well they can write or read, it's really about how much they care about the class and they care about their peers and the relationships that they're making in the classroom. So I think they would be really surprised to know how much that's what I really care about in the classroom, and I really want them to know that I'm really more interested in them as a person rather than what they can produce on a piece of paper.
What do you find most frustrating about your job right now?
I think the thing that's most frustrating is there's a lot of I guess things that you have to make sure you're doing as a teacher that are kind of administrative, and you have to make sure you're hitting these points and that, you know, everything's aligning with itself, and that all is really good and it makes a lot of sense why we have to do that. But I think it can sometimes distract you from what your passion is in teaching, and my passion is really building relationships and spending time with students and being there for them. And so when you get bogged down with all the things you have to do, I think that kind of can be frustrating and kind of distract you. But kind of just realizing that those are things that you need to get done in order to do your job well kind of helps with that.
Why did you choose to major in English?
That's a good question. I did not know what I was good at, and I did not know what I wanted to do when I was in high school, and my parents never pressured me to go to college. It wasn't something that we talked about at home. It just wasn't a thing. So when I got to college, I just asked myself, well, what do I like to do? I like to read, and I'm I'm okay at writing. So from there, I just decided, you know what, I'm going to be an English major. And when I started taking the classes and I started meeting my professors, I realized it was the place that I needed to be, and it was the place that really helped me develop my strengths.
Thank you for letting us interview you, and we look forward to seeing the students thrive under your leadership.